to episode 2 of the Pocket of Wisdom podcast on 𝘾𝙃𝙍𝙎. I hope you are still wearing your mask. I hope you're still practicing physical distancing. But anyways, today we have our guest back with us. He is none other than Christopher Raj, also known as my dad. And if you have missed episode 1 where he shared about his story of how he grew up and how his past shaped his purpose, his future, and his belief system, you can definitely check that out on YouTube and on Spotify. But today we are gonna get straight into our topic. So today we are going to discuss about how to survive and succeed in the corporate environment. So that you have been working for 38 years, is that right?
Absolutely, yeah, it's going to be 38 years. Moving on to 39.
And so if you could describe your whole entire working life, since you're already at your retirement age, right? So how would you describe it?
Yeah, beyond my retirement age.
That's true, actually.
So I'm 62, so I'm beyond my retirement age, yeah. And still working for the 𝘾𝙃𝙍𝙎𝙎 group, for which I'm so grateful. I've been with them for now 24 years and counting.
Wow.
So 𝘾𝙃𝙍𝙎 has been good to me, so yeah.
That's really great.
So what do you like to know? If you want to throw a specific questions, then I can...
Okay, so let's get straight into the questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I have actually gathered questions before this. I have asked some of my friends. I've gathered questions from the public and also some popular questions that people ask. So I'm just going to go straight into the first question, which is, what is your advice for people who want to climb the corporate ladder?
Okay, it's let me put it this way.
Okay.
Yeah, for you to, even before we recruit someone, we always say that we go for attitude and not for skills. It's for simple reason that when you have the right attitude, it's very easy for me to give that skills to you. Okay, so to grow in a corporate environment, it is so important that you have the right attitude even before you start your career.
Right.
So that is where it's going to take you. So how do you look at your job? Do you look at your job as a 9 to 5 thing, or you really look at your job as, hey, I'm going there, I want to learn. Because if you're going to a workplace, and the first thing is you need to decide whether is this the job that you want to have, and is this the career that you want to develop. So if that is what you want, then the most important thing is you go to work with this mindset. The mindset should be I'm going to go there today and I'm going to learn as much as I can. And if you have that kind of attitude, let me tell you, there is no way that you will fail in your career.
That's interesting. So actually, in actual fact, would you say that to have the mindset, I want to climb, that's not actually the mindset that you should have?
No, I think that's it comes automatically when you have the right attitude. People will see you. See, in this world, we are living in a world of perception. Everything is decided by what we see. Of course, I see you. You're working hard. I see you. Staying there even after working hours, and I see you going there. Taking that effort to go and learn something new. So me as a boss, when I see all of this stuff, and automatically when I want to decide, hey, who should I promote, to the if there is a vacancy to the next level, of course I will look at people in the category that is below, and look for people like this who have the right attitude, who's not looking at the job as a 9 to 5 thing, but they come there, they're excited, they want to learn new skills, and they're not controlled by only their area of work.
Right.
That's the type of person. So if you as I said, if you have the attitude, automatically you pick up the skills.
Right.
And when you pick up the skills, and of course people can see that. And I think that the next thing that can automatically will happen to you is you will get promoted to the next level.
Right. So hearing from what you say, if we were to compare attitude and skills, attitude will definitely be the most important thing to have.
Yeah, definitely. It's attitude. Here I'm not even saying about what qualifications you have.
Right.
But let me tell you, I studied in India. I am an Indian graduate. So when I graduated in 1982, when I came here, my degree was not recognized. But I work my guts out, as they say, in order to reach where I am today. So I not one bit of what I studied actually I apply in my career.
Wow.
I studied chemistry, botany, and zoology.
Yeah.
And I'm in the human resources field, absolutely nothing. But as I told you in the previous episode, I learned that that survival skill, and as I said, I developed the right attitude. So and I work very hard. There is no shortcut to success. Success comes only when you work hard.
Yep.
It's not that because you're lucky and you're in the right place and things like that don't last. Yeah, you can get lucky, you can be in the right place at the right time. Yeah, but that is not totally true.
Right.
But let me tell you, people succeed only because they have put a lot of hard work, and it's because of their hard work, that's what takes them to the top. And they remain at the top because the people who are hardworking people, and they are wanted. One of the reasons I want to believe that, excuse me, I want to believe that I'm still with the Shangri-La even after my retirement is because I believe that the Shangri-La believes in my skills, in my knowledge. For which I'm so grateful.
Yeah. And that since you mentioned hard work is so important, is there a story that you like to share about when you first began and what type of in what area you really had to put a lot of hard work, or what a certain situation, or maybe if you have?
Actually, when I first started my first job, that is in 1982, actually I worked for a union.
Right.
And I was basically a very, as I said, I came to Malaysia, my degree was not recognized, so first time, and I have to be very honest, my Bahasa Malaysia was not that great either. So I had to work very hard, in my first job. And I never limited myself to a 9-to-5 job, and what I did was, because I know my boss was so knowledgeable.
Yes.
So even after work, when my boss, normally he has there is a recreation center, 2 floors up from our working place, and he will go up there and he always invite lawyers and people who are in the industrial relations field. They come over and he entertains them, in this so-called recreation center that they had there. I will go up there, and I will help, and sometimes I even sing. And I sing Surangani, Surangani, Tamil songs, of course, and entertain them. Not because my boss wanted me to do it. It is because I wanted my boss to teach me everything that he knows.
Right. So it was a learning opportunity for you.
Whether you like it or not, you have to work with your bosses.
Yep.
So that's how, the boss taught me everything. And that is what today is made me who I am in terms of knowing the labor laws and industrial systems. And this is how I picked up from the best. But then it comes because I stayed back after work and and went up there entertaining all these people. And of course the good thing about that is I get to learn from them, on all the experience that they have.
That's really interesting. You really placed in an effort to stay on with the purpose of learning from your bosses. Is that right?
Absolutely.
And so this is actually very related to our second question that we have received, which is, do we wait for an opportunity to pursue our career, or do we actively seek out? And where can we find these opportunities?
Let me tell you, opportunities are there everywhere. And of course, I know during this COVID time that it's difficult. But depending on what type of career that you want to have. So the first most important thing is you need to decide what is that you want to do. Let me tell you, for 38 years, and as I said, 38 years and still running, I always wanted to be in the HR, HR department. I started my career, in the industrial relations field, which is a part of HR.
Yeah.
And then continued on until today. I never wavered. I never looked to the left or the right, and I know exactly what I want to do. Okay, so when you know exactly what you want to do, then of course, as I said earlier on, as I told you, if you find that job, and then you just have to do the right things, like what I told you earlier, in order for you to get to move on to the next level.
Okay. And since we're on this note, I was just wondering if there was young graduates that just come out to work, right? And they are not entirely sure which career path they want to take yet. They are afraid, they just came out. So what advice would you give to someone who does not really know where to start yet?
I think that I can't answer that question. It is something that that person have to ask himself, what makes him happy. The career advice is very simple. As I told you, I studied chemistry, botany and zoology, but I'm doing HR. So what I'm trying to say is that not necessarily what you study is what you need to do. What I'm saying is that stand in front of the mirror and ask the question yourself, what makes you tick? You like going out, you're the type of person who don't like to sit behind the table, then maybe it's not an HR job, it should be a sales job. It should be something that you like to go, if you are very good at people, maybe it's a customer service job that you need to do, and you don't like to be sitting behind the desk. If you're the type of person who is very good at the technology, or if you're very, nowadays even the handphone is so complicated. And if you know how to, let me tell you, if you know how to use all the apps, then probably you're a technology person. I don't know. It's something that you have to stand in front of the mirror and decide, okay, this is the line that I want to get into. And once you make that decision cannot it cannot come from anybody else. It cannot be forced by your parents. Your parents say, hey, I want you to do this, I want you to go into that line. Because most of the time you'll fail. It's a question that you need to ask yourself, find that answer, and then move along in that path.
And would you say that in our early 20s or even before 30 is the best time to just explore? Like, would you say that, like, for me, for example, if I were to come to you and say, I'm not really sure what I'm doing right now, I'm not really sure if I'm going the right direction, would you say that before 30 and before having commitments, it is probably okay to explore, even if there is a risk of failure, in terms of, not to say failure, but in terms of exploring something and realizing that is not for me?
Okay, it's a difficult question to answer, but let me put it this way. You can't wait too long to decide what career you want to have. Because you cannot say, I want to be in the HR line, and you start off as a HR assistant, you get to become HR executive, and then you realize, oh no, this is not what I want to do. Okay, and then I want to go into the sales line, because people are not going to take you on a lateral move. You still have to go back to, you have to become a sales assistant before you become a sales executive. It'll kind of take your career backwards.
Right.
So it's very important that at the beginning stage itself, of course, before, by the time you graduate, it's about 23, 24, right? Well, it's okay in the first 2 years that you explore and see what makes you tick. But if you want to work in a corporate world, that journey can take quite a bit, for you to get to the top level. So it is good that you decide.
Explore early and decide and stick to it.
And stick to it, as this is what you want to do. As I said, 38 years running, I'm still in HR. I still enjoy every bit of it, You need to decide what is that will make you tick. So the earlier you decide, the better it is.
Right. That also means the earlier you explore, the better. Right? Okay, that's great. So the third question that we have here is also, okay, it's a statement. My boss just keeps telling me to do things outside my job scope. Is that fair?
Okay, let me answer that by asking you a question again, not necessarily a question, but explaining what that means. When your boss is asking you to do something extra, you need to first of all see, is he asking you to do something that is very personal? Then I would say the answer is no. But if he's asking you to do something that it's a job issue, but not necessarily in your scope of job, then I would say that if he's asking you to do, I suppose the boss is thinking that, why don't I expose this guy to a new skill? Or why don't I give him an opportunity to do something else? Even if the boss is taking advantage, asking you to do some other work, I will advise that you do that job. even though it's not your job, you complete your job and you do the other job, because that's only going to help you. One thing is going to help you in terms of improving your skills. The second thing is you are going to be seen as a very good candidate for promotion when that boss is going to consider next candidate, unless he's doing that to victimize you. That's a different story altogether.
Okay.
All right.
Totally understand. So, to put it into context, if it is a situation where you risk getting victimized, or if it's a very personal favor that is kept in private, then you would say no, that is definitely wrong to its core. But if it presents to you a learning opportunity, even if it's outside of work, whether it's helping him to hold the drinks or something, but at the same time you're able to learn something from that particular assignment, then you would totally advise that person to go for it, right?
That's precisely what I'm trying to say, yeah.
Okay, that's great. All right, on to our next question. It's another statement. I feel very inferior in comparison to my colleague. What should I do?
Okay, so this again comes back to the first episode.
Okay.
It's your belief system. If you believe, actually a lot of things we lose in our life because of our belief system.
Yep.
Yeah. If you think that you're inferior, I think that's because you think you're inferior. It's not because anybody makes you feel inferior. You need to understand that, God has given each one of us a talent, but you need to believe that you have that talent. Don't let yourself, don't let this inferiority complex comes inside of you to say that, hey, I can't, I can't do this, or my colleague is thinking that, I'm inferior. This is something that you put on yourself. Again, sometimes it's a fear. It's a fear, it's intimidation. I have my own acronym for fear. Let me tell you what that means.
Yeah.
It's FEAR, right? So it is feeling engaged against reality.
Oh.
Okay, so you have the potential, but you believe that you don't have the. It's because you believe you're actually putting it. It's not real.
Right.
If you feel that, if anybody puts you in a situation where it makes you feel inferior, I will tell you, go work hard, show them that you're not that inferior, or I can do the job. It's basically, we are the ones who limit ourselves. It is like, you need to have, the paradigm shift. Our mental thinking is based on what we think is, it's what we see. It's not exactly what that's happening out there.
Right.
It is what you perceive to be, seeing happening outside there. Because it's your paradigm. It's what you think. As they say, you're a sum total of what you think.
Yep.
So if somebody is telling you you're inferior, and if you believe in that, then you are inferior. When you don't believe that, if you believe that, hey, that's not right, let me show to the other person, not being arrogant, but show to the other person, hey, let me show you I can handle even what you're doing.
Yeah.
By taking up that challenge, not with the sense of, physically challenging, but mentally saying, you're telling yourself, hey, I am not that person who you think I am. Let me prove to you that you're wrong. And believe that, I honestly believe, that every one of us have a talent, God-given talent.
Amen.
That's what my holy book says, Every one of us have a talent.
Yeah.
You need to believe in it. You need to believe in yourself. You need to believe in the God that you believe, so that that will take you to the next level.
So what I hear you saying is also that what people choose to say about us, how they see us, that is outside of our control,
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
So if it's outside of our control, there's no point trying to change that, trying to control that, but rather what's within our control is how we react to it.
Yeah.
And that's why you would say that try to take on the challenge, try to do it, try to prove them wrong, not because you want to fight them, but to show them that, hey, I can do it too. And I'm so glad you brought up the fact that yes, God has given each and every one of us talent, and we should never feel like we don't have a talent. Although let's be real. I mean, even me growing up, I will also feel like I don't know what talent I have, or sometimes I even don't embrace the talent that I have. I always deny it and say no, it does not exist and all these things. And like what you said, this is me. This is how I chose to see myself, and it's a wrong belief. I have to learn to accept and understand what the Bible says. And the Bible says that everyone has a talent. And if everyone has a talent, then I have a talent. Even if I don't see it, it's there, and it is me who has to learn to change my own thinking to learn to discover that talent. Is that right?
Absolutely. So you have two choices. Either you react or you can be proactive about it. When you react, you get angry.
Right.
Okay? When you're proactive, what happens is that you pause. You pause for a moment, and then you react in a way that you receive a positive result.
Yeah.
So it's entirely up to you. So you can look at the other person and get angry, or you can look at the other person and say that, okay, let me prove to you that I'm not what you think I am. It's a response that that you have. Again, it depends on your belief system. So if your belief system is not right, then you say, I'm no good. I've been like that. I failed the last time. When I tried last time, I failed. Then what happens is that kind of a thought will only bring about depression inside of you.
Yep.
But if you believe that, I can do it, there is nothing impossible, I believe my God will help me, then your mindset is completely different. You don't get angry, and you are proactive. You don't react, but you think about the situation and you come out with a very positive solution to react to whatever being said or whatever that you have to do.
Yeah, and I love that you brought up a very important fact, which is to remember that no matter how tough that situation is, that God is with us in that situation.
Absolutely.
And that He favors every single one of His child, not one excluded. And so no matter how small we feel or how unskilled we feel, that as long as we know that God is with us, we have nothing to fear.
Absolutely.
That we don't have to even this made me think of something else, which is it's the corporate environment is known to be very competitive, correct? It is very competitive. Everyone feels like they need to beat one another down to climb to the top, so to say. But would you say that for us as Christians, that we don't need to worry about fighting in that sense, to compete with them, to have that mindset of competing, that we should learn to understand that as we learn to lift others up, we will be lifted as well? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. You see, one of the things that come to me is, one of the scriptures, which is a very strong one. God has not given us a spirit of fear. He has given us a spirit of power, love, and a sound mind. Okay, see, this is very important. Power, love, and a sound mind. Power in the sense that you need to believe that you have the power.
Yep.
And love, again, it's a very important thing, because you cannot survive in this world without being loved.
Yeah.
And of course, the third most thing is the sound mind, right? So that's wisdom. Sound mind is wisdom from God. So the way that you react in your corporate office, at the end of the day, let me tell you, as I said earlier, I don't want to repeat myself. When you have that purpose, if you have that purpose to succeed in your life, what you're going to do is you're going to work so hard. You don't have to compete with anybody else. Just be the best in whatever that you do. Believe me, when you're doing the best, it will not go unnoticed.
Amen.
And it will come out, and leave the rest to God, as you said. If you believe, it doesn't matter whether you're a Christian or a non-Christian or whatsoever. But I believe that this advice is for everybody. That you believe that you have a God. You work very hard. You don't have to go there. The other person is doing better than me. I need to do something to bring her down or bring him down.
Yeah.
That kind of thing will take you in the wrong path.
Yeah.
Your thinking should be very simple and straightforward. I'm going to go to work today. I'm going to enjoy my work today. and I'm going to complete the task my boss has given to me today, and I'm going to give the best out today. As long as you do that on a daily basis, I honestly believe that there is no reason for you not to succeed in your life. Be the best in whatever that you do. You don't have to worry about the success. Success will just come automatically. And don't worry about all this. Sometimes we get worried. The racial issues comes in.
Right.
Oh, I'm a Chinese, I'm an Indian, I'm a Malay. I'm not going to be preferred compared to this guy and that guy. Can you put all that aside? End of the day, as I said, I'm an Indian. I mean, this is Malaysia. I've reached a level. I probably would have reached a higher level. I'm not saying, but I'm happy where I am because I know God is in control.
Yep.
And God knows exactly where I should be, in which place I should be, in which time I should be, and I'm happy. What's happening in my life, and whatever that I do, and as I said, as long as I'm doing it with a good heart, I feel good about it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great advice. And that so we have come to the final question, and I remember that there was a time in your career where you were given a chance to work overseas. Is that right?
Yeah.
And you chose to stay over here with us as a family. And if you may, can you just share about how you came to make that decision and why?
I think that's a very good question, and I think a lot of us face that in our life. Yeah. And of course, I was offered. I remember in 1997, 1996, even I was offered a job as an RM. I could have become a general manager of a hotel many, many years ago. And I was also offered to go work overseas. I had an offer to work in Christopher Island.
Oh, okay.
And also in India, in the HR level. See, this is again a value system that you have inside of you. As I told you, I grew up, you all know my background history if you listen to the first story. For me, my family is very important. My church, I would say church is very important.
Yeah.
Family is very important. And of course, when I say family, not only my immediate family, even my brothers and sisters, that's very important. See, life, there are many... In order for you to enjoy life, you have to juggle a lot. It's a lot of things at the same time.
Yeah.
You have to be happy. In order for you to be happy, you need to have a social life. You need to have a good spiritual life.
Yeah.
You need to have a good family life, and you need to to have all the other co-curricular activities in your life, sporting activity. So it's a juggling of all this. So when you go to another country, it is like starting all of this all over again. Because for me, when I'm in Malaysia, my church is near to me, my family is near to me, my extended family is near to me, the social activities or the people that I associate with, they are near to me. For me, these are important. Even though money is more attractive, but I honestly believe money is not everything in your life. Money, happiness comes not necessarily through the money. You can have a lot of money in your bank account, but at the end of the day, if you're sad because something, someone close in your family is going through something, and you're not there, let me tell you, all your money is of no value. And so I decided that I want to develop my career in Malaysia itself, and I'm happy that I've achieved that. If I had gone overseas, I could have become a corporate director of HR whatsoever. But staying in Malaysia, I still achieved being the president of an association. I'm so grateful to Shangri-La. For 25 years, they've taken care of me, and it's a great company to work with, and I'm very grateful to the company as well. That is because all of you grew up, you finished your graduation. This house that we have, everything is paid by Shangri-La.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I decided to stay on in Malaysia rather than to go overseas. So again, what is your value system? Your value system, if money is very important to you, I'm not saying it's bad, then you have to make a decision. Okay, you want to go overseas, but it's a call that you have to make in order to make yourself happy. So I made the decision because I felt very happy staying here in Malaysia rather than going overseas.
Thank you so much, Dad, for sharing all your advice. And one reason why I wanted to also do this is because I recognize that I have a role model that I can learn from straight in my home. And not a lot of people out there get that kind of access. Not a lot of people have a mentor that they can go to. Not a lot of people have a father figure in their life. And so that's why I thought, hey, why don't you share your experience, you share your advice, and we let people learn from your 38 years of working life, and even before that, in your childhood experiences and everything. So before we end this episode, what would your final advice? Is there anything you want to share with the listeners today?
The important thing is you need to enjoy your job, and of course, I suggest to you that you believe in God. It's very important, because everything that I do in my life is shaped because of what I think God says to me, or what God, how God has been in control of my life. So I suggest to you, if you believe in God, that's a very good thing to do. And with that, then if you have the right attitude in your job, no matter what job it is, let me tell you, once you have that belief that God is with you, everything else is just something that's going to happen naturally. And as I said, it'll be happening for the good. As I believe that all things work together for good for those who love their God, and called according to His purpose, which is the other word that has been added. So you will live a purpose-driven life, that if you have God in your life. So that's what I will say. And I can also say this, and after you're going to post this, right, in YouTube or whatsoever, I will be more glad to answer any HR related questions. If people post it, if they throw a question out there, and if there is a need for me to come back again and to deal with those questions, I'll be glad if they can post that questions. It doesn't matter, you don't have to give me your name, and with Debbie Girl, I'll try to answer all those questions. Be it difficult, by the grace of God, I think I should be able to answer all HR related questions, or even IR related questions. So, well, I think that's what you want to start, something like that. Right?
Yes, most definitely. So you have heard it, guys. Comment your questions after this, whether it's on YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram. Leave your questions down. We will record them, and we can always have my dad back to answer more questions in the future as well. And right before we go, we actually have a giveaway specially prepared just for you. So we have 20 ebooks to give away. This ebook is Chronicles with God. It is a book that my dad has written, and he has recorded down a lot of the lessons that he have learned, even from our pastor. And it is up right now on Amazon. It's for sale. You can go and purchase it. But if you are listening to this episode, you can have a free copy of it. All you have to do is leave a comment, whether it's on YouTube where you're listening to, or Facebook or Instagram. It's very simple to enter. All you have to do is comment, I want to get a copy. That's it. You can get it for yourself, or you can get it as a gift for your friend. Christmas is coming. It will be a great gift for you to give your friends. So enter in, whether it's on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, leave your comment, and we will pick 20 winners to get this book. And so just right before I go, remember that everyone has a pocket of wisdom to offer, and that includes you as well. Take care, and we'll see you next time. Bye. Okay. You feel good?
Yeah, absolutely.